You're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy Show.
The view from our side of the cockpit door.
WAPG, it's the Airline Pilot Guy.
Airline Pilot Guy, episode 685.
Yeah, he's up in the sky. It's the Airline Pilot Guy.
Hello, you're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy Show. The view from our side of the cockpit door, with the host Captain Jeff broadcasting live from APG headquarters in Roswell, Georgia. Today's show is recorded the week of November 17th, 2025.
Yeah, he's up in the sky. It's the Airline Pilot Guy. It's your ride and he's flying by. With the Airline Pilot Guy.
In today's episode, the NTSB releases dramatic photos and info on the UPS cargo plane crash in Kentucky, and a passenger jet bursts into flames after a bad landing in the Congo. Also ahead, more news and your feedback. So get all settled in. Tray tables and seat backs in the upright and locked positions. Electronic devices powered on. I'm Radio Roger. Flight 685 is ready for pushback.
Thank you, Radio Roger Stern. He's an award-winning TV and radio reporter, currently at the number one all-news station in the nation, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in
New York City.
Welcome to the Airline Pilot Guy Show. It's an aviation podcast covering the latest in aviation news and answering your great feedback. I'm Captain Jeff, former U.S. Air Force pilot and retired Delta Airlines captain. And joining me from his completely dark Garden View studio,
in Hartford, Hereford, and
Well, the sun's gone down.
retired professional dog shooter, former RAF, RAAF fighter pilot, unemployed Airbus A330, A340 exceedingly ex-senior Capitan for Virgin Over-the-Pond Airways. It's Captain Nick.
Yeah, sorry about that, Jeff. But no, every time we have the show, it's pitch black outside, so I never get to see my garden. Right, APG 685, XE 685 is the registration, would you believe, of a Hawker Hunter, an aircraft type that I have flown, although this was a fairly early version, the F4, and it was delivered to the RAF back in 1955. Served on a bunch of bases, acquired by the Royal Navy, who loaned it back to the company who built it, Hawkers for Weapons Trials, and then it was given back and used by the Navy as a radar target aircraft, for their ships and their weapons operators. Eventually it was sold to a civilian company around the turn of the century. Flew many air displays until 2012 and was scheduled to be refurbished until the very sad Shoreham Airshow disaster in 2015, which halted really any prospects of XE 685 flying again. It became a source of spares and will remain a static-only airframe. How sad. How sad.
Where is it static at?
Yeah, very hard to find out. I'm afraid
Got it.
information about its current whereabouts peters out
Classified.
after 2012. Well, yeah,
classified.
sort of. But it is a beautiful-looking airplane,
Yeah, it is
that's
nice.
for sure.
Looks in great
So-
shape there.
You said it was a target, it had target towing duty, or was it a target
it was
itself?
just used as the aircraft itself was the target. It used to, Fradu, I think, was the name of the organization, that they would set up ship attacks and, take the role of Soviet missiles. And then they would be targeted by the ship's radar and, operation
They wouldn't actually shoot it
systems.
down, though, would they? Because that seems like it wouldn't be very useful. Only one time.
Well, I think they're fairly safe if the Navy are firing things at them. If it was
so they always
the Air
miss
Force,
anyway?
that'd be different. But
Gotcha.
the Navy don't
Sorry,
hit
Navy
much.
people. And Chinese people.
Yeah, and
Oh,
everybody
dear.
else that we
All right.
offend.
And anybody
especially
Who
with
else
Nick.
could I
Chinese
upset
Navy.
today?
So, Liz, are you okay? You sound like you're already sighing.
Yeah, I'm not sighing at all.
Oh, okay. All right, good.
Liz.
Good to hear. All right. So let's introduce you then. From her studio in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, retired financier and aviation enthusiast, spreadsheet master, and our producer, it's Liz Piper.
Hi, everybody. I know this will upset a lot of people, but I put my Christmas tree up this week because I really wanted to put it up. No, I haven't got any decorations on it yet, but it's up and lighted.
Hey, you know what? You do you, you know?
Exactly. And I've got my nice new little fireplace, and oh, it's so cozy.
I've been watching a lot of videos from various places around the world, and one of them, the Philippines, and they're like officially, their Christmas season starts like October.
Oh,
like
really?
October 1st or
Boy.
something ridiculous. I mean,
Oh,
yeah.
boy. Well,
that's kinda
Costco,
crazy.
it starts in like September. Anyway,
Yeah.
have a good show, guys.
All right. Thanks. Let's do some news, Nick.
Yo.
Stand by for news.
Well, this is kind of breaking news. I think that earlier today in Dubai, an Indian fighter jet crashed during a flying display at the Dubai Air Show. And let me play a little bit of this video that we have from the crash. Looks like it's kind of rolling out of some kind of a maneuver, we think, a barrel roll. Looks like misestimated the maneuver and his altitude above the ground, and kind of in a very flat attitude slammed into the ground, and unfortunately the pilot was killed.
Yeah, single pilot, right?
Yeah, I believe a single pilot. Not sure if, you know, what the configuration of the jet is. I think Captain Nick knows a little bit more about the jet than I do.
Yeah, I took a look at it because I hadn't really didn't really know much about it. It's the Tejas, or I'm not quite sure how you pronounce that if you had a proper accent, but it stands for a Radiant in English, but it's an Indian aircraft and pretty much built in country. They got some help from the French, from Dassault, to design it, and also they fitted a fly-by-wire system. But the Indians actually, having taken a look at what they were being offered, decided to build their own. So it is a pretty advanced solid delta, tailless delta, with a fly-by-wire system, and they actually looked at a radar system from the Americans. In the end, they built their own again. About the only thing they really used other people's technology for, I think the engines. They've got some General Electric 404s, which they put in it. It's only a single engine, but it kind of started flying just into this century, so about 2001, but didn't really get going properly until 2007. I think it got to the first squadron a few years after that. So it's been around for quite a while, and is a lightweight Delta, which has an impressive array of weapons. It's a multi-role aircraft, a true multi-role aircraft. It can deliver air-to-ground stores, as well as having short-range air-to-air missiles and beyond visual range air-to-air missiles as well. People kind of call it a generation 4.5, so it's not quite Gen 5, but it's certainly getting there. And it's had an excellent safety record. I think they've only lost one other airframe in all the years it's been flying, because it's been going for quite a while now. And all we can say about this, or all I'm going to say about this, is that air displays are notoriously dangerous. It counts for more peacetime accidents than almost any other scenario. And funnily enough, one of the easiest maneuvers that you're taught to fly as a pilot is a barrel roll, because it's a nice, relatively simple maneuver. But the thing about a barrel roll is that it requires constant input of roll and pitch. And you need to be very well coordinated to fly one accurately, particularly when you're close to the ground, because it's so easy when you go through the inverted portion of a barrel roll to let the nose drop while you're concentrating on the rate of roll so that you fly the second half of the barrel and get back to wings level, pointing in the right direction. If the nose drops too much, at low level, you're on hiding to nothing there. And I hate to say it, that's what it kind of looked like this pilot might have done. Of course, there are lots of other reasons why he might have crashed, because there could have been a mechanical failure just during that maneuver that stopped him flying it accurately or stopped him pulling out. There could be lots of things that went wrong, in the cockpit. But I know of a number of airshow pilots who have perished flying the old barrel roll. So, it's just one of those maneuvers which isn't incredibly impressive. People don't really go, "Oh, look, there's a barrel roll." So I sometimes wonder why
we're doing this.
it's included in an air display. But it is a favourite manoeuvre, and there you go. Sadly, I hope no one else was injured on the ground, but sadly the pilot perished.
I think that most people who aren't like into aviation at all, or show up at these air shows and stuff, are much more impressed by aileron rolls, which are very simple maneuvers, in fact, and they are also referred to by the uneducated people watching air shows as barrel rolls. No, those are aileron rolls. But don't you agree? I mean, it looks more spectacular.
Oh, yeah.
It's much easier to do than a barrel roll, I think.
Oh, much safer, nice snappy aileron roll. Yeah, that really was required. If you're at very low level, you don't want to do one. You just want to get a little tweak of the nose up just to make sure that the flight path remains level, so that, because as you roll, obviously your flight vector is going to be inverted, which is going to cause the nose to drop a little bit. And that really snappy, if it's got a fast rate of roll, that really snappy aileron roll looks great. I mean, you watch the Blue Angels do their maneuvers. They've got a pair of aircraft that are so close, and then they do a snap roll. A snap roll is usually a roll that is sort of a different maneuver to an aileron roll. Snap roll is when you get close to a spin and the aircraft rolls because of the aerodynamic forces that you would use to get into a spin. So that's a different maneuver. In fact, if you fly light aircraft, even aerobatic ones, you'll usually see snap rolls are forbidden. You can very rarely find an airplane that's permitted to do a snap roll unless it's a specialist aerobatic machine. But no, aileron rolls are done nice and snappily.
Well, one of our audience members that now we're recording this live on Friday, November 21st, Main Man Micah, is asking, have you, sir, ever done any air displays when you were in the RAF or the RAAF?
No, not as
not
such,
on purpose.
Not a formal air display. I've displayed my aircraft at low level and often got told
I know.
off for
We're
it.
talking about officially sanctioned ones, not the kind where they kind of come up to your airplane after you've landed and start interrogating you. We've heard those
exactly
stories.
right. Yes. Yeah. So no is the answer. No, and I have to say, having watched so many of my colleagues perish doing it, I wasn't the sort of pilot that would have felt comfortable being an air display pilot. I don't think.
Okay. Yeah. He also adds, I don't think that the A340, A330 were designed for those kind of aerobatics.
No. The most you could do is sort of waggle your wings. That's about it, really.
Yep. All right. Very good. All right, let's move to the next news item, which is this from the Aviation Herald, avherald.com. An Airjet Angola Embraer ERJ 145, registration Delta 2 Alpha Juliet Bravo. Alpha Juliet. Does he have anything to do with this? Performing flight 100 from...
can I say the next word?
Yes, please.
Lubumbashi. A number of times I had to go through Africa on an HF shouting at the controllers in Lubumbashi, Lubumbashi, Lubumbashi. And you never got a reply. That's not true. You sometimes got a reply, but I'm very familiar with shouting Lubumbashi.
So they were going from that place to where else?
I don't know, somewhere in the Congo.
Yeah, Kolwezi or Kolwezi. I don't know how that's pronounced.
That's why
either.
I didn't try.
Yeah, from the Democratic Republic of Congo.
You're right.
Yeah. With 26 passengers, 3 crew. They were landing on Kolwezi's runway 29 at 11:38 local time. Okay, middle of the day. Touchdown before the displaced runway threshold, resulting in a main gear collapse and came to a stop off of the runway on its belly. The tail area burst into flames. The occupants evacuated. There were no injuries. However, the aircraft is reported completely burned down.
Is it burned down or burned up?
It depends on which way you're looking at it, I guess. Listen closely to the engine RPM at various stages of this flight. Everything sounds pretty normal.
Nice double slotted Fowler flaps they've got there.
Okay. I don't know what he's saying in his language. He said, hey, pretty nice approach here. Look at that.
I think he's saying, I hope we don't crash. And his mate's
he
going,
might be.
Of course we won't crash.
Now all of a sudden, power's coming in. Looks like it's climbing a little bit. Maybe they got a little bit low. Oh, here we go. Here's the power coming in.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's a lot of power. To my ears, anyway. Okay, so now the power's back kind of where it probably normally would be for a stabilized 3-degree glide path. Coming in. We're getting closer. The houses are getting larger. Looks like a very steady approach. Not a lot of wing wobbling. Here we go again. It's like, oh, okay. Why are we? It looks like it sounded like a go around to me, but it's not.
Yeah, but he's not climbing.
Okay, we're continuing. We're approaching. We're getting closer to the runway, I assume, because everything is getting much larger on the ground. Actually, it's the same size. It just appears to be larger. Okay, again, the power comes back in. And we see a little bit of the runway, the airport environment. And... Ow.
That's not good.
Lord.
Yeah, that's not good.
That didn't sound good. Okay, the camera's very shaky.
Listen to
Yeah.
that.
Kind of skidding sounds. Yeah,
You
this
guys
is not
thought that
good.
WestJet landing was a hard landing.
Okay, we're seeing like little pieces of debris all over he's still looking out the right window, and now he's doing an emergency evacuation. I don't hear any announcement or anything. Just a bunch of people kind of shouting. Okay. And then here's another video. I'm not sure. This is from a different person, I think. Oh, well, excuse me.
I think he does speak English.
All right. Yeah, that was an English word there. Okay, we're looking at the he's outside of the aircraft right now, looking back, and the back, the aft portion of the fuselage is on fire. Like, what was that guy trying to do? Was he thinking about going back to the
I
inside
think he
the
might have
airplane?
been. Perhaps he was worried about a
Like he
colleague
forgot
or a
something?
family
He
member or
His laptop.
something.
Or maybe, he forgot his laptop or his carry-on or something.
Yeah, as Micah says.
Okay, there's that video. And then let's take a look at
Yeah, this is
the aftermath of this thing, where we can kind of see some of the condition of the runway. This is before they actually land. They didn't do this damage, by the way. There was a NOTAM, right? There was a NOTAM regarding the fact that they were doing construction of the first 1,000 feet or 1,000 meters of the runway. Okay, so this is the construction that they're doing. It looks like they're kind of demolishing the runway. Oh, wait a minute. There's a piece of the airplane that just landed. Another piece of the airplane that just landed. All in this construction area.
They drove straight through that. It looks pretty. That's just torn up runway and rubble and holes and.
Yep, they miscalculated, I think.
Well, yeah.
Where they were going to touch down.
We saw the piano keys go underneath the aircraft as it was making an approach. So
the original.
Yeah, and that's
keys.
A displaced threshold already. So, there's quite a bit of the runway before you even get to the piano keys. And then shortly after, you see all this work in progress. And it looks like the crew just landed in the normal place and ran straight into all those holes and all that rubble and torn up runway surface.
Yep. So the person taking this video is kind of walking past where there was another piece of the airplane. Again, now he's just coming to the...
I thought the piano keys were before the...
I think maybe those were the piano keys that we saw in the video, Nick. I think may have been the original ones, not the displaced threshold ones.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm guessing. But
no, that makes a lot of sense. Looks like they painted fresh piano keys because of the work in progress. And those piano keys are just beyond where the workmen have been.
Yep. Some more pieces of the airplane where the person taking the video was walking up upon.
Pretty amazing no one was injured or killed.
Yeah, it is really it is amazing that nobody was injured for sure.
Because it must have just ripped the undercarriage. Oh, there's a piece of undercarriage leg just being ripped off the aircraft. Wow.
Yeah, and this video obviously has been being recorded. There's another. That's one of the main landing gear.
Yeah.
Gathering fresh evidence right after it happened.
Yeah, I mean, you can hear the sirens in the background, so they're just arriving at the airplane, which is at the other end of the runway, off the other end of the runway.
There's the landing gear.
Yeah, so...
Spells.
Yeah, this is not good.
You guys
I
must
think
be
we know
feeling
what the
pretty
cause
good
of this
about your
is.
careers right now.
They just kind of underestimated their trajectory to the runway, and I don't know. Do you think that they didn't know that the runway was shortened and they had a displaced threshold, or?
Well, I don't know, Jeff, because they were still at a reasonable height when they came over the threshold. But I think you're right. I think they must have landed in the normal place without realizing the work in progress was there. But you mentioned that they leveled off and powered up a couple of times during the approach. I thought the first time that happened, it was because, I'm used to flying very big airplanes. If we were doing a non-precision approach, which had a level segment leading up to the missed approach point. In other words, you did a step-down approach. We would never fly that. We would do a constant angle approach all the way down. But a lot of approach plates are written so that you can do a descent and level off and then drive in towards the airport, and you reach the missed approach point, which is a physical distance. You're now at the lowest altitude you can go to get any further. You get to that distance, and then you could recommence your descent from that point onwards. That's the way some approach plates used to be designed. So it looked like he was perhaps doing one of those, although he did it twice. He did it once at what looked like around 500 odd feet. And then he did it again and came down to about 200 feet and then made a final descent in. And one of the reasons that we wouldn't do that kind of approach, we would aim to do a constant angle approach, is because it's much safer to do that. This leveling off, powering up the airplane, leveling off, and then recommencing approach is a very easy way to destabilize your approach. And I wonder if they were following a plate that was driving them into their original landing point where the runway used to be before they started the work in progress, and they didn't really adjust their arrival to coincide with the extra displaced threshold.
That could be one of the, or a possibility anyway. Here's a look at the actual NOTAM every day. This applies to every day of the week. Work is in progress. Runway 29 pavement reinforcement in progress. Runway 29 threshold is displaced by 1,000 meters. Approximately a little more than 3,000 feet. Remaining landing distance is 1,500 meters. Caution recommended on takeoff and landing. I don't think they heeded that. So the declared distances in effect, the landing distance available, 1,500 meters. The first 1,000 meters of the runway are unavailable for landing. I mean, this is very clear, this NOTAM. It's not easy to misunderstand.
It is, but it's another area where NOTAMs haven't really been an effective communication device, because one picture is worth 1,000 words. If you drew a diagram of the runway and put markings to indicate where you were, where the work in progress was, pictorially it is much easier to absorb that information than it is to go, oh, okay, right, 1,500 meters from the threshold. So it's another area that NOTAMs aren't really a good way to communicate to us.
MetroDoc sort of is summarizing this whole thing up here.
MetroDoc says, looks like someone didn't get the memo.
Yep.
All right, so we'll be interested to hear and see what they come up with as far as what happened here, but it kind of looks obvious.
I don't think the crew got a leg to stand on, quite honestly, because despite the fact that I don't like the way NOTAMs communicate, it was plain. It was there in black and white that they couldn't land at the first 3,000 feet or 1,500 meters or whatever.
Okay.
Next.
Let's continue then with this preliminary report on the UPS MD-11 crash at Louisville, Kentucky on November 4. Yes, please. In the preliminary report is a sequence of 6 photographs taken, credited to UPS, so they must have some kind of surveillance camera that was pointed in that direction and caught this sequence where in one, everything looks normal. The MD-11 is rotating normally. And then shortly after that, we see the left number 1 engine canting upwards at a pretty severe angle, probably 45, 50, 60 degrees nose upwards. And then even further in frame number 3, where we see some fire. And then frame number 4, where we see the engine kind of hurtling over looks like over the top of the fuselage. And we kind of remarked how it was kind of odd that the engine parts and the engine itself, the core, ended up on the right side of the aircraft. And now we can see why. The thing was just kind of spiraling up in that direction after it departed the aircraft. So the engine, and clearly in frame number 5, you can see the pylon and the engine attached, going over the top. And so it's kind of easy to see how that, especially in that last frame 6, where you can see the kind of the trail of the fire and the smoke and the debris kind of heading toward that number 2 engine, the middle engine on the tail, the intake, and perhaps causing some issues with that engine as well. Yeah, and then the preliminary report also has some photos of the actual pylon structure and the aft attach point of the pylon to the wing clevis or clevis. I'm not sure how that's pronounced. And they have an aft lug and a forward lug of that particular mounting point of the pylon on that wing mounting point, and there's a spherical bearing involved in that assembly. And in the further picture that Liz is showing now in the video, which is also going to be in our show notes, you can see the actual pylon aft mounting point, the forward lug and the aft lug, and clearly there are fractured parts of that assembly that led to the fact that there was nothing holding that aft mounting point of that pylon to the wing itself, and just started departing the aircraft because of it. In the preliminary report, they do talk about that there was some kind of lubrication of the spherical bearing accomplished in October of this year, so not long ago, but they had not yet reached the inspection time frame, the number of hours necessary to do a more thorough investigation of the pylon itself, all the other aspects of the pylon assembly. Forget exactly what they call that. I'm trying to scroll down and find the actual terminology and nomenclature. Let's see. I'm still trying to find the associated maintenance and inspections. Okay, so a 24-month, 4,800-hour lubrication task of the pylon thrust links and pylon spherical bearings was last accomplished on October 18, 2025. So just a couple of weeks before this accident. A special detailed inspection, an SDI, of the left pylon aft mount lugs would have been due at 29,200 cycles. And the left wing clevis or clevis support would have been due at 28,000 cycles. The accident airplane records show that these two special detailed inspections had not been accomplished because the airplane only had 21,043 cycles. So they were quite a ways away from that detailed inspection of the pylon aft mount lugs. Let's see, in our live chat room, Metrodoc says, do you think NTSB will release the takeoff video these stills are from? I don't know. Perhaps in the docket, when they release the docket, Metrodoc, they may end up actually releasing the video associated with it. I don't know. That's a good question.
We see the engine doing a cartwheel over the top of the wing, and I remember my brother when I was a youngster and he was an apprentice aircraft engineer, and he told me, I don't think he was referring to this aircraft design, but he said that some pylons are designed so that when you get a heavy shock to them, the aft lug, the aft restraining point, will fail before the forward one. And that's so that the engine, if it's still under power, will do exactly what this engine did, in the cartwheel over the top of the wing, because it was thought that was the safest way to get rid of an engine that was coming loose. And I don't know if that was the fact with this, or whether my brother was just giving his kid brother a laugh, but it stuck in my head. And we've seen a number of incidents where a very similar movement of the engine, because it's still under power, when the fail, it does this. It actually flips over the top of the wing, and it gets well clear of the airframe. Whereas, of course, if it goes under the wing, it might take something else with it unexpectedly. But
that does seem to make sense.
Yeah.
Sounds reasonable.
It just stuck in my head.
Yeah.
But whether it's my brother or Another engineer might be able to tell me. Whether
Well,
is it true or not.
we have people that listen to the show who work in that area of aerospace, engine manufacturing, and maybe the associated pylon, and perhaps they can kind of send us in some feedback regarding that if they know anything about that particular design, or you aerospace engineers out there listening.
Yeah, I mean, it might have just applied to the aircraft that Chris was working on, but
Right.
whether other aircraft have that design feature or not, I don't know. But it's very dramatic to see that engine going the way it does. But of course, under full takeoff power, once it's been released from the restraint of the pylon, it's going to be a rocket until it runs out of fuel, of course.
Right. I agree. Let's see. Also on November 15th, right around the time that the preliminary report was released, or maybe right before or after, I'm not sure what the timing of these or the chronology is, but we had talked about on the last episode that the FAA had released the emergency airworthiness directive that covered the MD-11 series aircraft, and then they went ahead and reissued it and said it also now includes every version of the DC-10 as well, because they share much of the same engine pylon structure that's very similar in design. So they said, just to be on the safe side, they're going to go ahead and ground not only all the MD-11 fleet, but also the DC-10 fleet until inspections can be accomplished. And again, I think they still haven't detailed, as far as I know, the inspection procedure. But then once that occurs, then they'll probably unground those fleets. So that's your update on the UPS MD-11 crash.
Tim Van Ram
Yes,
has
ma'am.
had another safe landing.
I'm here. Tim Van Ram, another safe landing at Kilo Sierra Tango Sierra, Sonoma County Airport in beautiful Northern California. That's my favorite county in California,
You
Sonoma.
like their wine, right?
I love the wine.
Yeah.
Yep. And they have great cheese as well.
So Steffi might be with us for the last 10 minutes or so. She's trying to get
and
home,
we're still
so-
kind of waiting on AJ to show up as well, perhaps. Maybe in about a half an hour or so. We'll see. Okay, let's continue then with an update on the Boeing Dreamliner 787-8 crash in Ahmedabad in India on the 12th of June of this year.
That's June.
Let's see. On October 11th, 2025, the Supreme Court hearing has been rescheduled to November 10th. Okay, which we're beyond that now, to hear additional witnesses, collect additional documentation. On the 10th of November, it became known a third petition had been filed besides the petition by the father of the captain. The petition by the Safety Matters Foundation. Hence, the Supreme Court is now planning to hold a common hearing on all three petitions on November 13th. On November 13th, the hearing commenced. The court stated that the Indian government, representing the AAIB, the Air Accidents Investigation Branch, have not submitted any reply to the petitions from these parties in over 2 months, instructed the government to provide replies, and ended the hearing. And the government, the only thing really we heard from the government was from their lawyer that said, we never blamed the pilots. But apparently that's the impression that at least the father of the captain has, and perhaps the other petitions as well, or petitioners. Following the hearing, the India's Pilots Association, or the branch of the Airline Pilots Association in India, released the following statement. The petition concerning Air India Flight 171 raises issues that go far beyond a routine accident investigation. Emerging technical evidence suggests that the Boeing 787-8 experienced a complex multi-layered systems failure involving electrical transients, hydraulic interruption, and possible loss of command authority anomalies consistent with long-standing service bulletins and airworthiness directives on the Dreamliner's integrated electrical architecture. These are not the signatures of pilot error, but indicators of a deeper systemic vulnerability that demands independent scrutiny. Under India's own aviation rules, a serious accident of this nature, where a potential design or system failure may have directly contributed to a loss of control, requires a court of inquiry, not merely a closed technical review. So it looks like they're objecting to the report from the AAIB of India and trying to get the Supreme Court to rule that they need to do this more in-depth analysis of the electrical architecture of this aircraft.
Yeah, I think the paragraph a little later on, Jeff, where they say a transparent, judicially supervised inquiry is essential to determine not only what happened on the flight, but whether similar hazards continue to threaten passengers and crew across all operators. This case is now a matter of national and international aviation safety. Now, India doesn't have the best record for its accident investigations. Oh, excuse me.
Was that a dummy?
That's all right.
Alert!
That was
Alert!
just alert. Yes, it was a caution.
Do you have boldface on that?
Yes, I think it's from the Indian government, actually.
Oh no!
That one, yeah. So it's just that we've seen accidents where we've got reports from other countries because they have had a combined, as is happening in this case, a combined inquiry, which sort of counter the official Indian government opinion as to what happened. They differ quite markedly sometimes, and so this is not unusual for me to see a report that is indicating one thing from the government and something else from other parties involved. So I think, yes, I think the union is quite right. The India's Pilot Association, ALPA, is quite right to ask for a fully transparent public inquiry into the accident, so there's no chance of anything being sort of swept under the carpet.
Okay, and is that the general feeling that that's what happens more times than not with?
Not more times than not, but there have been some very high-profile losses where that has certainly been if you look at these accidents in detail, there's certainly been a factor.
Okay. Well, we'll keep our eyes and ears open for further developments of this investigation and the lawsuits being filed and petitions and all that kind of stuff. So, all right. So you'll recall that we talked about the accident of the 747, the ACT Airlines, ACT, Boeing 747-481 freighter operated on behalf of Emirates Sky Cargo, flight numbers 9788, while landing on runway 7 left at Hong Kong International Airport on the 20th of October. So about a month ago, they've released a preliminary report. They're saying that the co-pilot was the pilot flying, the captain was the pilot monitoring. After landing, and when the aircraft was decelerating, an auto brakes message appeared in the engine indication and crew alerting system, the ICAS display in the cockpit. The captain took over control of the aircraft from the co-pilot. The aircraft veered off to the left, resulting in a runway excursion abeam taxiway Charlie 6. The aircraft subsequently collided with a stationary security ground vehicle positioned in a designated observation point along the airport's perimeter road. The impact resulted in the ground vehicle entering the sea. The aircraft continued through the airport's perimeter fence and entered the sea, where it came to rest. In the course of the runway excursion, the aircraft destroyed various airport meteorological sensor arrays, signage, the ground vehicle, and a section of the perimeter fence. Aircraft was destroyed. The tail section separated from the aircraft during the impact sequence. All 4 crew members survived the accident. The 2 security staff in the ground vehicle perished. At the time of the accident, the weather conditions were suitable for aircraft operation. Visibility was good, which was 10 kilometers or more. All relevant communications, navigation, surveillance, and air traffic control equipment and facilities were serviceable and operating normally. Let's see. Let's move down a little bit to some of the meat of this preliminary report. They say the Air Accidents Investigation Authority, I'm assuming that's what the AAIA stands for, established following facts so far. The aircraft was dispatched with minimum equipment list 1 item, so MEL item 1 was, let's see, minimum equipment list 1. I don't know. I guess they have more than 1 minimum equipment list. Let's see. So there was more than 1 item on this list. The first one they have listed here is hydraulic system 1 reservoir cockpit indication issue, which was resolved by maintenance staff prior to the first departure of the flight day. Okay. That was probably an inspection, probably like first flight of the day. You have to take care of this particular MEL. That's what I'm guessing here. Because I remember there were several items that we could have on our minimum equipment list that required an inspection either by maintenance and or by the pilot crew. Continuing on, number 4, engine thrust reverser inoperative, which is a very critical one or crucial to this investigation. So the engine number 4 thrust reverser is not working. It's inoperative. After departure, the evidence available is consistent with a normal flight up to the runway excursion. They plan for an auto brake 2 and flap 25 landing. After completing a transition to the ILS of runway 7 left, the aircraft was cleared to land by air traffic control. ATC also advised that the wind direction was 030 degrees at 18 knots and instructed the crew that after landing to keep their speed up until vacating the runway. The crew read back the landing clearance, indicated that they would try their best. After touchdown, the speed brake lever extended with the appropriate crew call. Reverse thrust of approximately 95% N1 was selected on number 2 and number 3, the inboard engines, with number 1 engine selected to idle reverse with a crew call reversers normal. Okay, they don't mention anything at all about the number 4, so it sounds like they didn't activate the number 4 thrust reverse lever. An auto brakes message appeared in the ICAS display. The auto brake disarmed, and a crew call manual braking was made. The captain took control of the aircraft. This is the sequence, anyway, of events that they're presenting in the preliminary report. Subsequently, the following data is observed from the flight data recorder. Number 4 engine accelerated to 90% N1 forward thrust. Okay, that's when you're landing, you don't want any of your engines at 90% N1 forward thrust.
No.
All selected thrust reversers were stowed at about 5 seconds after the number 4 was accelerating to 90%. The number 4 engine continued to accelerate to approximately 106% N1 forward thrust.
Wow.
And then ended up at 107%
That's basically
N1.
full power.
Yeah, so that's like very high power on number 4. Reverse thrust of approximately 92% N1 was again selected on number 2 engine. Okay, that's going to even make the turning...
Yes, turning momentum.
Movement even more severe.
Yes.
Number 1 and number 3 engine thrust reversers were also deployed, reaching a reverse thrust of approximately 83 and 91% N1 respectively. Those thrust reverser selections occurred after the aircraft had veered off the runway. Okay, a little bit too late now. So after the accident, they examined the flight deck. The auto brake selector was indicating disarmed. The speed brake lever was in the flight detent position, so the speed brake lever had been stowed to its normal flight detent position. Number 1, 2, and 3 engine thrust levers were closed, okay, with reverse thrust engine thrust levers were closed with reverse thrust levers selected to maximum. Okay, so the reverse thrust levers are on top of the normal thrust levers, and they were all the way up and back, so full maximum. The number 4 engine thrust lever was in the full forward thrust position. Okay, this is this is like the smoking gun here. It's not supposed to be in the forward thrust position.
No.
The number 4 engine reverse thrust lever was fully forward. Okay, so no attempt, it looks like, was made to use or activate the number 4 engine reverse thrust lever. And also the fuel control switches were selected to run. Okay, interesting. They never went to off with any of the fuel control switches. I guess they just kind of stopped on their own when it went into the water. Right?
It doesn't run very well on water. No.
Okay, so I don't know, Captain Nick. So I also have experience flying 4-engine aircraft, but it was back in the early to mid '80s. So it's been quite some time for me since I've flown a 4-engine aircraft. I know that you spent a considerable part of your airline career flying the A340. Which has 4 engines. Does any of this sound like a normal landing rollout sequence to you?
No, it all sounds a bit weird, quite honestly. Now, I understand the initial part. You get on the ground, deploy the spoilers. That all makes sense. Engage the inboard engines to full thrust reverse. That's great because you've got a number 4 engine which you're not going to get any thrust reverse from. So you don't want to get uneven thrust reverse from the engines that are furthest out in the wing, because they're going to give a lot of turning force to the aircraft. You don't want that. So you put number 1 engine at idle thrust reverse, which is fine, and number 4 engine is just left at idle. Now, there's a suggestion, having chatted to a few 747 skippers, there's a suggestion that is not normal, because even though you've got the thrust reverser inoperative on the number 4 engine, you would still pull all 4 levers for thrust reverse, in the knowledge that you're only going to get thrust reverse on 1, 2, and 3. And it's quite correct to leave number 1 at idle and just pull full power on 2 and the inboard engines, 2 and 3, which is what we would do, exactly what we would do. Although we didn't make it an SOP to leave the inoperative thrust reverse engine throttle at idle. We would actually could engage all 4 thrust reversers or not, depending on how you wanted to play it. On the Airbus, it was very easy, because if you had a thrust reverser that was inoperative, you could click the lever into thrust reverse, but you couldn't apply lots of thrust reverse on them, because there was an interlock that would prevent those levers from moving. The fact that the captain is only covering 3 of the 4 throttles makes me wonder, and it made these other 747 pilots I spoke to wonder. So let's just go back to what's happening on the flight deck. They've done a nice landing and everything's going fine. They've got inboard thrust reversers deployed, and then they're asked to roll through, or I don't know exactly when that came in, but they were asked to roll through and expedite their departure of the runway. So they want to keep their speed up during this initial part of the roll through until they get to their turn off. Now, kicking off the auto brakes or turning off the auto brakes is quite correct. You don't want the brakes to auto brake you and bring you to an early halt, because air traffic told you to keep your speed up. And you don't necessarily need full thrust reverse. But while the captain's doing his thing there, is possible, we don't know for a fact, but it's possibly asked for the flaps to be raised, in which case these first officer, because the captain's now flying the aircraft, the first officer's role has reverted to pilot monitoring, and he's moving the levers. It's a possibility, and I only say this as a, we don't know yet, but I'm thinking it might have happened that he reached across and moved forward a lever. Now, the throttles are in an unusual configuration at this point, in that the captain's got his hands on 3 of the engines, but the number 4 engine, the one that had the throttle that moved all the way to full power, is on the same side of the console as the flap lever. And it's all the way back. So it's not far from the flat lever. And although you can see there the engines 1, 2, 3, 4 and the flap lever, they look a long distance apart. And you go, well, how could he mistake those? Well, if that number 4 engine throttle is all the way back and the first officer's looking across the flap lever, those two are kind of in line. And if he's not paying much attention, it is a possibility that he put his hand over, went clean over the flap lever and went onto the number 4 throttle instead, and thinking he was raising the flaps, pushed it all the way forward. That is a possibility. The skipper probably wouldn't have realized what was happening, because all of a sudden the airplane starts to veer and his attention is now fully out of the window and on the rudder pedals and the brakes and everything, trying to keep his aircraft on the runway. So he would not have had time to look in and see where the position of all the things he's not touching are now in. So we're just throwing that in there, because some of the experts I've spoken to think that is a possibility. So I'm going, oh yeah, okay, that's a possibility. People might be interested to have a think about that. So there you go. It would be a shame if that was the situation, because that is obviously an error, a cognitive error that you wouldn't want anyone to do. But it's not necessarily what happened. We'll have to wait and see.
I have a couple of things to say. Number one, I think the sequence of events is when they received the landing clearance, they were asked to expedite their roll. So I think it was before they touched down, not in the middle of all this stuff happening. And the other thing I was going to say, we're looking at this throttle quadrant of the 747. I've never flown the 747, but I have flown the Boeing 727, which is, I think, similar, although these look much more modern than the thrust levers that I recall from the 727. But what we're looking at here is with the little knobs that say 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the reverse thrust knobs, and the throttle. All 4 throttles in this case are full forward, like firewalled, we say. And so those little knobs that you can see, the little white knobs further, and they look like they're farther down, that you can kind of see between the first and second and third and fourth throttles, are the actual knobs that are, what you'd normally see when the throttles are in the normal range. So, no, I take that back. I said that backwards. The ones that we're looking at, 1, 2, 3, 4, are actually the ones that you would normally see. The ones that are farther forward and beyond and look like they're further down and in front of the throttles themselves are the actual knurled knobs for the thrust reverse. And my point is that when, in my experience, most airplanes that I flew, when you had a reverse thrust MEL, like a reverser inoperative, from what I recall, is most of the time the thrust lever would still work. It would still move. And as Captain Nick mentioned, on some of the airplanes, there's like an interlock, and it only lets you move it back just a little bit, maybe to idle reverse, that position, but nothing more than that. And I don't remember which airplane it was, but one of the airplanes that I flew, you couldn't even move the throttle, the reverse thrust lever back. I mean, it was like locked in that position, so you couldn't actually activate it. But one of the things, and I'm sure that the 747's like this too, I'm thinking, is that I think that when you pull the reverse thrust levers back into the reverse thrust position, it kind of locks everything. You can't like push the throttles forward anymore. It kind of locks them in that position. Is that what? Well, yeah, I know you flew an Airbus. So that's completely different. Maybe somebody out there listening in the live chat can correct me if I'm wrong about that. But it would definitely help, even if it didn't lock the throttles from going forward. It would at least help if you had that number 4 reverse thrust lever up, because then everything looks all normal, right? That's
Yeah,
and you
you'd
wouldn't
all look in
mistake.
line.
Yeah, everything would be in line, and it wouldn't mistake something from. I don't know. And that may be. I don't know if that's a manufacturer kind of thing where they say this is the way you do it, and the airlines say yes, sir. We'll do it like that, or if this is like an individual airline thing where they go, well, this is the way we're going to do it, and another airline says, no, we don't like that. We're going to do it this way instead. So,
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But maybe somebody out there that has flown the 747 can. Wish we had like a host that flew the 747,
Oh, where's that German chap?
or even the guy from Miami.
Oh, the Miami chap.
Yeah, who's currently flying the 747. Anyway, so maybe we'll get some good feedback from people that have experience with flying the 747, and they can explain a little bit more detail about how that whole system works. But we can definitely say that having the number 4 thrust lever fully forward is not what you want to do. For sure.
No, that's obviously why they left the runway and ended up in the dreadful position they did and killed the 2 guys en route.
Which is very unfortunate.
Sad. And I did ask that if there was any possibility that a fault with the auto throttle system might have advanced that throttle without the crew's knowledge. And I was told, no, that's unlikely to have happened.
Okay. Now there was, I think part of the contributing factors, I think, here is the fact that during that critical stage of touching down the initial portion of the rollout, and then the captain taking over control from going from pilot monitoring to pilot flying, that, and a lot going on there, that can get kind of confusing. That's not ideal. But sometimes you have to do that, that's why it's so critical when you have a transfer of control that everybody understands what's happening, and who has control. It's because you don't want anybody to second guess that.
Yeah, very much so.
Okay. The Alaska Airlines pilot who was jump seating on the Horizon Air, his name Joseph Emerson, he had taken psychedelic mushrooms a couple of days before he took this jump seat ride home to the Bay Area, I believe, or that's where they were intending to go. And then he reached up and tried to pull the fire handles and shut down the engines of the jet. Looks like that on the that was the October 22nd, 2023 when this happened. The latest that we have here is he was sentenced.
He received a 50-day jail sentence, credit for time served, and 5 years of probation, and also 664 hours of community service, which is 8 hours for each person he endangered, and he had to pay over $60,000 in restitution mainly to the Alaska Air Group.
So let me get this straight. He almost brought down an airplane single-handedly. Yeah. And I guess because of this whole process, judicial process, he ended up being in jail for 50 days total. So he received credit for that and doesn't have to serve any more jail time, and he just gets 5 years probation and has to write a check for $60,000. I think he got off pretty easily. Don't you?
Well, I think so too, because any airline pilot that takes a psychedelic drug, albeit with mushrooms or anything, more chemical, more created, is not the sort of person I want to work with, and shouldn't be in the industry. I don't think there's any mitigation for his actions at all. Having said that, he does freely admit that he says, I'm not a victim. I'm here as a direct result of my actions. He acknowledges that
Okay.
he
That's
made
good.
a dreadful mistake. Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to help, though, when he's interviewing for another position at another airline. in
I
the future.
don't think we'll see him in a flight deck again. I don't know.
I would doubt it. Yeah. Okay. Well, it is time now for the Getting to Know Us segment of the show. The time where we kind of find out, not kind of, we do find out what has been happening to the various or with the various crew members that are here on the show. Okay, I'm going to start the segment by, let me not talk about me first. Let's talk about, this could have been potentially about me, but it wasn't. We received some feedback from Hillel, who organized, one of the organizers of the unofficial APG meetup in New York City. And he sent us some audio and some photographs that Liz is going to show while I play the audio. So here we go.
Radio Roger here at the Dublin House with the unofficial APG New York meetup. Unofficial because Captain Jeff just didn't care to come.
I did.
No, I know he wanted to come. I'm kind of the skunk at the party because I knocked down a beautiful charcuterie plate tray by Tanya. So, but they're still tolerating me here. So let me just pass the mic around.
Hey, thanks, Roger. Hey, it's Jonathan here, and
Tracy.
And we are so glad to be here. This is the podcast that is still the only podcast I fly to, and I love seeing all my friends here, and we don't get to connect enough, but I'm so happy to be seeing y'all now, and you, Hillel. This is great. Here you go, Tanya.
Well, hello, APG crew and community. This is Tanya, and Radio Roger, absolutely no problem at all. Everything's copacetic. But we're having just an absolute wonderful time. It is so great to see some familiar faces, some new faces, absolutely lovely people. I'm a little exhausted because I packed too much into this week. I went to see Carl Palmer in Fort Lauderdale. Of course, flew Airbus both ways because I'm an Airbus girl. But I'm here. We're here. We're having a fabulous time. And let me pass it on to the lovely David Abbey.
Hello, everyone in the APG community. This is David Abbey, coming to you from the meetup, of course. And it's just always great to be here to see Hillel and Tanya and Radio Roger. That's our group. And Hillel's wife and my girlfriend are here too. Not that you know them, but we're all just having a good time. And Tanya brought some nice cheese for us to eat, talking aviation, having a few drinks. And that's about it. So I'll pass it on to Hillel.
Okay, I'm going to actually let Jeannie say a few words because she wants to, or I convinced her, or something else. She wants to make fun of me. Here.
I'm Jeannie. I'm Hillel's +1. It's really lovely to meet so many people from the APG podcast. And I thought I would shed some light on Hillel always coming to you from the shower. I just want to let you know he's not there alone. So, I
Jeff's
just thought I
there
would
with
put that
him.
image in everyone's head. And now I leave you with my husband.
Okay, so now that we don't have any secrets anymore, you might wonder why I need so much body lotion. And we're looking for wash towels frequently.
Listen to Tanya.
It might make sense now.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so this is
It is.
obviously Hillel. I'm obviously not in a shower. And we're having a great time at the Dublin House. We're really missing everybody who couldn't make it. We'll do it whenever we can, meet up with these kind. I remember the very first meetup with Captain Jeff. He was still flying to Baltimore. And I texted him or called him or whatever. It wasn't, well, obviously not a phone call, but said, hey, you're in town. I can take you out. He's like, okay. He brought his first officer as bodyguard, and but it turned out really well. Anyhow, so I'm really glad that Radio Roger and Tanya and Dave +1 Emily and my wife could all come together and hang out here in Manhattan. It's a fun little Irish pub. They actually have Irish accents, which is interesting to be, in New York. I guess that's not so interesting. It's New York, but we're having a great time. Wish you were here. Sorry you're not. Back to you in the studio.
But
Aw,
Jeff, here's
thank
the
you.
This is the Banksy. There's the
Yeah,
Banksy.
so Liz is showing us one of the included pictures of the Banksy that has become so famous on the side of the building there. It's like a silhouette of a kid with a sledgehammer hitting something. I can't
It's
tell
like a
what
gas
that is.
connection or something. I don't know.
Is it a gas connection? I don't know. Can't tell. But anyway, so that's pretty cool. So now we know what a Banksy looks like, or now I know what a Banksy looks like. Yeah, I really, I'm sad that I wasn't able to make it. I'm sorry that I mixed up things in my schedule. But next time, and Hillel talked about the Baltimore meetup, and I know he's not here to
dispute it,
respond to me. But I think that may have been the time that we went. I mean, there were several meetups I met up with Hillel several times when I had Baltimore layovers, and I'm wondering if that was the one where we ended up at one of the breweries. I forgot what something Seas. I forgot the darn name of the brewery now. Or was it the one where Hillel took me to this famous place for roast beef. I think it's roast beef.
The pit
sandwiches.
Pit beef.
Pit beef or something. I don't know. I don't remember. Anyway, there were every one of those meetups with you, Hillel, were great. So sorry I couldn't make this one up in New York City.
Yeah,
but it sounds like you guys had a good time.
SEEDZ Brewery. Seeds Brewery.
The what? Seeds Brewery?
Seeds Brewery in Seeds. SEEDZ. Is it?
No, that's not it. It has something to do with the seas, like SEAS. Heavy Seas. That's it. Heavy Seas.
Beer.
Yep. That was it.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you, Liz, for looking that up for me while I was speaking. Yeah, and very cute about the fact that Jeannie is always with Hillel, but she never comes into here in front of the microphone to tell us about Slack for some reason. Maybe because Hillel said, "Nope, you stay here. I don't want Jeff looking at you." That could be
Jeff's
the case.
A creep.
Anyway, so yeah, I am a creep. Thanks, Liz. All right, let's see. Moving on. So I'm glad to see and hear that you guys had a good time. And he also mentions in his email to us, Hillel, that when they first started doing the recordings, Jonathan and Tracy had not arrived yet, and so that's why they didn't make mention. Some of the people didn't make mention of them at first, but he was able to kind of squeeze it into the audio at a certain point. So it was nice to be able to hear from Jonathan. And let's see, and then Roger, yeah.
Poor Roger.
Sorry about bumping off the expensive Italian meats or whatever they said, the meat tray. But at least they got the cheese, Better than nothing. All right.
Didn't they obey the 5-second rule?
I would have definitely adhered to that. I know it's New York and it's an Irish pub, but it doesn't matter to me.
What else did you do last week, Jeff?
Well, so on Sunday night last weekend, so this meetup was on Saturday, so I still would have been able to do this if I had gone to the meetup. But I saw a billboard on, there's a comedian named Nate Bargatze, and he's a very funny comedian. And I'm thinking, I've watched a lot of his Netflix specials and other specials on streaming media, and I just think he's just very, very funny. And I noticed this billboard, he was going to be in town, and I went, okay. So I thought, I bet this would be a fun thing to take my daughter Natalie with me. And so I kind of put that out there, and I guess I understood her to kind of basically say, yeah, that'd be fun, which she did say, but she didn't commit to it. And so I bought the tickets, And then she said, yeah, Monday mornings are kind of busy for me and I need to have a good night's sleep.
Sunday
So
night you were going to go.
yeah, it was a Sunday night. So she said, this is kind of a school night, actually a work night. And so I went, oh, okay. Well, I don't think I can get any refund on these tickets. So I invited my fellow choir member, a bass named Kurt. He's also a fellow Delta pilot. And
you went
anyway,
up to see Kurt up in Annapolis?
Oh yeah, last year, I think it was last year, Kurt and his wife Cindy invited me to join them up at Annapolis because he and Cindy and every one of their children went to. In fact, one of his children is still going to school. Actually, two of them, I think, are still up at Annapolis at the U.S. Naval Academy. And so he invited me up there to see one of the games last football season. And I did that big road trip and did the Shenandoah Valley and the whole thing. Anyway, so that's the same Kurt Miller that I invited because we kind of have the same dry sense of humor. And I'm thinking, if he hadn't heard of Nate, I think he'll really enjoy this comedian. And so we went to the concert on Sunday night. There's a picture of the two of us in the, when I bought the tickets, I didn't buy the ones that are on the ground level, like the really super expensive ones. By the way, I put in that I wanted 2 tickets and I was looking at all these prices and you can kind of have like an overhead view of the stadium and the various seats that are available and how much those seats are. I thought they were kind of quoting the price for 2 seats. When I was checking out on the seats that I was actually chose, I realized no, those are just individual seat prices, and so you double that. And I was looking at some of these seats that were several $100s on the floor of the concert hall. Actually, it's an arena, a sports arena. Basically, that's where the Atlanta Hawks play their basketball games at the what do they call it? State Farm Arena, I think. Anyway, so kind of we were at the first level up, and when we went in, Kurt and I passed this area where it looked like a private area and looked like some food and beverages and bars and stuff like that. And we're thinking, ooh, that looks nice. And I said, yeah, if I'd spent some more money, maybe we could have been on that level. And we were like going up the escalator to the highest level. And then I went, wait a minute. No, I think that we're going up too far. We're going up too high here, I think. And then we looked at the tickets and I looked at the signs and went, oh no, what we were just looking at there, that's where we're supposed to go. I had no idea. When I bought these tickets, I didn't realize that it came with some nice
drinks.
Free, well, not really, I say free with air quotes because they weren't free because the tickets were not free. But they were, food and drink were included. And it was really, really good food and really, really good beer and other drinks if you preferred. So yeah, we got a chance. Excellent. And then if you look at the picture of the Kurt and I sitting there, these seats are not your typical sports arena seats. They're a nice cushy, they weren't like lazy boys or anything like that, but they were very, very comfortable, wider than normal seats. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, this is nice. Well, Natalie doesn't know she's missing. And I made sure that she knew that this is what she missed. Anyway, so we had a good time. Nate Bardazzi is a very, very funny comedian. He's really, really funny without being dirty and without being like swearing every other word. He doesn't swear at all. So it just goes to show you that it's possible that you can actually be funny and do the observational humor and all that kind of stuff without being nasty and dirty.
Okay, Tanya's asking you on a date here, Jeff.
Okay, Tanya said, "Oh, Jeff, now that I know you're into comedy, we are going to a comedy show next time you're in New York City." Okay, deal.
He's up for it.
Deal. All right. I love going to comedy clubs. I mean, laughter is such good medicine.
That's why we do the show.
That's why we do the show. Yeah, that's one of the reasons.
So people can laugh at us.
Yeah.
Yes, so they can laugh at us. Yeah, not with us. Speaking of laughing at us, looks like
I'm only here to laugh at you guys.
Oh wow, you're way too high on the game.
But literally nothing changed since last show.
I know, that's the way it works in the world of audio.
He's still a bit loud.
That's
How's
computers. Much better. Thank you. So how are you, sir? Glad that you were able to join us.
I'm doing great. Had a nice little rainy flight over to Cartersville and back. And
excellent.
Little scud run to kick somebody out on the ramp and come back to Marietta.
Okay, good.
So yeah, I've rewarded myself with a nice, very large gin and tonic.
Ooh,
things are looking up.
That sounds good to me. Yeah, have you been up to anything else?
More of the same. Got to fly the Seneca a couple of times this week. So got a few more multi hours under the belt, which are difficult and or very expensive to get. And this one happened to be priced correctly. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, good to hear. Everything going well at the job?
Yeah, cruising along.
Excellent.
And no power was turned off in the...
Yeah, did you manage to keep from shutting down the whole operation?
I did not shut down any whole computer systems.
Okay, well, that's good. Good to hear.
Today.
Anything else you want to update us on before I continue with my spiel?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that's the story.
All right, very good. Well, glad that you were able to join us. We're obviously in the Getting to Know Us segment, so we have the feedback yet to come. And yeah, all right. So the other thing I wanted to cover is a very nice email that I received from Tim Qualls. You've heard us talk about Tim before. He's a longtime listener of APG, a longtime APG community member. I think we met Tim for the first time back in 2019 at Oshkosh.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so he's a great guy. Anyway, he sent me this actually, he sent this to Liz because he said that he didn't want to send it to the regular APG email because he figured that Jeff would never find it and would lose it.
Smart
and, because
man.
Jeff's losing his mind and that kind of thing. So, so he sent it to Liz only, and then Liz sent it to me and made sure that I was aware of it. So let me read what he has said here. He said, I've been meaning to send this for a while now and just have never gotten around to actually writing it up. Not sure if any of it is show worthy. Oh yeah, it is. That's why we're reading it on the show, Tim. But wanted to share with you and the crew at least. I don't know if you remember Carl. He was the retired C-130 loadmaster that was with me when we met at the sea base in Oshkosh in 2019. We've managed to make it almost every year since then, including this year. His health has been really bad ever since we got back this year. Actually, it was bad even while we were there. He literally would park the vehicle and sit in it the entire time. Wasn't even able to step foot inside the grounds at all. COPD, along with several other issues. He went in the hospital on August 5th, the first time, and has spent more time in the hospital than at home since we've been back. I've lost count, but I think it's 8 or 9 different trips. I honestly don't think he'll be around at the new year at the rate he's going. Oh, that's sad. He does know his air venture days are over regardless. That's just the background of what I wanted to share with y'all. Needless to say, I've been on the road a lot since then, driving back and forth to the VA, Veterans Administration, in Little Rock, about a 2-hour drive each way, so I'm having no trouble staying caught up for a change. I guess he's driving Carl back and forth to the VA hospital or to visit him in the hospital in Little Rock. Anyway, but APG has made it somewhat easier by being able to hear familiar voices on the drive. Most of the trips are by myself, but the other day I had to take him to another appointment, and he asked me which pod, that's what he called it, not me, so don't get mad at me for saying pod, laugh out loud, I was listening to. He asked me what pod I was listening to. I think I was actually on a photography one at the time. Oh, a photography podcast. I think I was okay. Usually it's paused when anyone else is in the car, so it wasn't actually playing. But it occurred to me to put on APG since I haven't listened to the most recent one yet. His closest appointments to home are an hour away one way, and usually by the time we get started to come home, he's going downhill and about half incoherent by the time we get back. However, that day, as well as last night when I had to take him to the store, he stayed engaged the entire time there and back listening to APG. He still talks about you and Captain Nick and Dr. Steph and remembers most of the details about y'all from when we met. Just wanted to let you know how much APG has helped me over the past few months and how it seems to be helping a friend whose health is bad, but listening to APG makes him feel better. Thank you so much, Jeff and crew, and love you all so much. Keep doing what you're doing. And then he has a postscript. He was not happy when you didn't read. Oh, Carl, the guy that he was taking up to the VA. He was not happy with you when you didn't read the entire email from Hong Kong Nigel about the APG ratings. I guess he was curious to see how high you all are. Well, it depends on the show. Sometimes we're higher than others.
We don't take those mushrooms.
But regardless of whether APG is ranked number 1 or dead last, it is the only podcast I have to listen to each week, and it means even more to me now. If he makes it to his birthday on November 30th, he'll be 78. So I've made a contribution to the coffee fund in his honor. Tim calls. Thank you so much, Tim.
So happy birthday to Carl.
Yeah, happy birthday, Carl, if you're listening. Really means a lot to us, and Tim, it really means a lot. Sending that letter to us, it makes us feel like,
humbling.
What we're doing. Yeah, it is a humbling thing.
Heartwarming, absolutely.
Yeah, heartwarming
yes,
and humble,
nice.
and makes us feel encouraged to continue to do what we're doing. So thanks so much, Tim, for that.
That was great.
All right. And I think that is pretty much it for me. Captain Nick, what have you been up to, sir?
Let me think. We've had a bit of a cold spell coming up, and I had to do some work around the house because, one of my security floodlights was constantly on, so that wasn't, it needed replacing. And I decided to upgrade my video doorbell. Got a 4K version, and of course I forgot that Black Friday was coming up, so I didn't.
You spent more than you needed to.
Probably, but actually, when I went onto the website of the company that sells these, I don't think this is a pretty new device, so I don't think I'd have got anything off, which makes me feel a little bit better. But sadly, the temperatures outside were absolutely freezing. And I tell you what, being up a ladder with numb fingers and all those little fiddly screws and things, I was dropping stuff. Good job no one was walking underneath this ladder. They'd have been impaled with falling screwdrivers and all sorts. And I was going up and down that ladder like, a bride's nightie, and because I had to keep going picking up my tools. Anyway, that's been keeping me busy. But dog walks in the cold temperatures have also been lovely because I really don't mind a lovely late autumn day when the temperatures are low, but as long as the sun's out, it makes you feel good. It's lovely, clear, bright, crisp. And my two woofs, old Rugger there, he's getting on a bit, he's looking an old gentleman. But it's the army ground that I normally am allowed to walk our dogs on is closed, so we're down in a very picturesque little forest, which is absolutely lovely. And of course, I always love my photography, so it was nice to take some pictures of the woofs out there. Which is what I was fixing this afternoon. I was sorting those out. And, of course, as you're well aware, Jeff, I've had to reorganize my audio system here because we've had a bit of a problem, didn't we? I couldn't come on the show.
Yeah, last week you couldn't join us because it was just not working.
The echoing.
Yeah.
So I ripped out all the complicated audio system that you and I built over years and replaced it with one tiny little box, which actually works very well indeed. So I'm back to stage one again. Well, yeah, at least I can speak now, which is absolutely great.
We don't hear ourselves coming back at us. That's just nice.
We don't like that at all. So I wasn't on the show, but I did get a message from Liz with some suggestions from various people for titles for the artwork, like electrical ground stop. You've already mentioned AJ turning something off that created havoc. And driving in the rain.
Diving.
Oh, diving in the rain. I used to be a scuba diver. I did a lot of scuba diving in my younger years. We used to scuba dive in the rain all the time, and we never even noticed. You
didn't even know you got wet.
No, we didn't. It was weird.
So what are they talking about with this rain stuff? It doesn't make sense. Yeah, we were talking about skydiving.
Yeah, absolutely. And then when Jet A gets in your eyes, which I think was about that bloke that squirted aviation fuel all over the pan. But the one we liked was AJ's RAF Dum Dum, which he came up with the story, because I had one get ready for you, AJ, but I didn't give it to you.
I'm still waiting on you to forward me the royalties for taking care of that for you, by the way.
Oh, really?
You could get on, just make sure that checks on the way.
I will forward you everything that I receive. In fact, you can have 2 weeks worth. How's that? And that'll make up for it, I'm sure.
I mean, shouldn't you just be honored, just be honored to see this beautiful artwork with your lovely face?
We really need to get you some more pictures of me.
Well, yes, you haven't given me many opportunities to capture your face, but there you go. You're an Irk.
Look like Gomer Pyle.
Alert.
Yeah. Well, an Irk is the nickname for a lowly RAF airman. Every time I put airman into Google, it thinks you're talking about a pilot. But in the Royal Air Force, an airman is the lowest rank.
Same as the U.S. Air Force as well.
Basic airman is the lowest of the low.
Airman.
There you go. So you're there on guard duty at some awful Air Force base called RAF Dum Dum, and I never heard of it before. But
it's in India.
Oh, there you go. It explains a lot. You look great.
Maybe Bangladesh, according to Liz. Sorry.
Oh, Bangladesh. Oh, is that right? And, of course, we need you to be alert, because Dum Dum needs alerts. Now, the RAF Dum Dum is there, and I put the crest, the APG crest in the middle. So that's where that one was not exactly hidden, but you'll find that the hut is number 684. That was the show number, and Jackass Penguin.
Jackass Penguin there
has already got past.
He seems to have snuck past the gate there.
Exactly right, without showing his ID. And he's sneaking a look through the fence there. So that was the artwork from last week. Thanks very much indeed for helping me out as well, AJ. Cheers.
Oh,
of course.
And thank you for doing the artwork, even though you weren't even on the show, sir. I mean, that's not the first time you've done that. We do appreciate that. Yeah. Nobody does it like you, for sure. All right. It looks like somebody else is hanging out in the green room. I don't know if this particular... Yeah, looks like she is ready to join us. Hey, Dr. Steph.
Hey, I can join you guys. Sorry. Good. I know you're probably not going that much longer tonight, but just thought I'd...
Well, we haven't hit the feedback yet. We're still in the getting to know us segment. And what do you have to tell us? Yeah.
Oh, I don't have much of anything. I ran a half marathon last weekend. It was fun.
As you do. That's what we all do.
Get a good time?
What are the odds?
Yeah.
We were trying to help a couple friends get their goal of running under 2 hours, and 2 of the 3 did. So that was good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, do you stand behind them and push them or something? How do you make them go faster?
We just tell them that we're going to set a pace, and they try to hang out with us. And we were ahead of pace, and then we... one lady kept going, and she did really well, 151. We lost the one that didn't make it pretty early on. She said, "I'm not going to keep up with you guys. You go ahead. I don't want to, push myself. Today's not my day for this." And then the other one, we,
Have you tried a cattle prod? Does that help?
I just had a brilliant idea. Okay, you know those kids' leashes that are on the backpack that you see them at the
Right.
mall?
That's good.
You
Yes,
take
those
two
pull
of
along.
those and you attach them together, and you just keep running.
Right. Right.
After a while, you're
Yeah, no,
dragging
it's-
one of the people.
Well,
Well, I felt like we were a little bit at the last 3 miles. We were doing some cheerleading work to keep her going, but did great. 150, just under an hour and 55 minutes. So
Good.
under goal.
Excellent. Goal
do that a
achieved.
Big
lot
personal
faster,
best for both of them. So
what's that,
they were quite
13
happy.
miles?
13.1 miles.
Oh, I could do that a lot
21
faster than an
kilometers.
hour and 51 minutes.
I could do
I'll
that
be
on
in
my
my car.
bicycle.
in his car. Okay. Not running.
Very good. But yeah, beautiful day for it. Fun run. I don't have any flying to talk about. Everything else is just work. So
Great
Work,
to
work,
see you,
work.
Steph. Thanks
Work,
for
work.
taking
Okay,
the
great.
time.
Great that you were able to join us. And great getting caught up with you. So
Just before you hit the
now,
coffee fund, no, wait
Yeah.
just a sec. Tim Van
Okay.
Ram is really upset with you, actually, there.
Tim Van Ram says, never knew Jeff liked comedy. He never laughs at my jokes. Well,
Because he likes comedy.
because I appreciate comedy. Good comedy. And that's not true. He knows it's not true. I laugh at his jokes all the time. Yeah, we do. We love you. All right. It's time now for the coffee fund quickly. Well, I'll shut up.
Johnny, how much more coffee? No thanks.
I love coffee. I love tea. I love the APG community. Coffee and tea and the Java and me. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup. Oh, yeah. The Coffee Fund is your way, dear listener, to support us financially if you have the resources to do so. A couple of different ways to do that. One is the Coffee Fund Classic Method. And we just mentioned earlier that Tim Qualls made a nice contribution in honor of Carl to our Coffee Fund Classic. And he said, just a little way of saying thanks for what you do. So thank you so much, Tim. We do appreciate that. And the other way that you can become part of our Coffee Bar Club is to become a patron of the show via patreon.com. And now, Texas Charlie, he's been a member. He's been a patron for a while. I'm not sure how long, almost a couple of years, I think. But I noticed I received a notification that he upgraded his patronage. He was a producer, and now he has bumped up to executive producer. So, yay! I think that I had something prepared.
Wow, thank you,
let's
Texas
see.
Charlie. That's brilliant.
I thought that I had something to play. Here it is. Yay. Okay. Thank you, Texas Charlie. We do appreciate. And I know that, there are other ways to support us other than financial. One is by sending us feedback. And he does that on a regular basis as well. So we do appreciate that. And we
Even though I
obviously
mistake him for Tejas and Lashak sometimes.
appreciate your financial support as well. And Liz was saying, yeah, even though occasionally we mistake you for Texas and Lashak, because Texas is a common word for both of you.
'Cause we're stupid.
But anyway, so thank you, Charles, for that. Texas Charlie. So we do appreciate that. If you're interested in joining this great group of people, head over to airlinepilotguy.com/coffee. You'll be glad you did. We will too.
Captain, incoming message.
Okay, let's start this feedback segment with this from Ray Davis, Down Under. Again, he's talking to Liz and no one else on the crew. Hi, Liz. Hope that you're doing well. Yeah, we're doing okay too, Ray. Thanks for asking.
For the record, this did not start with "G'day." Therefore, it is obviously a fake Australian accent.
Oh, you
that
think?
he's using.
Did he use the word mate at all?
Nope.
In anywhere? No. Oh,
if he
you know
did,
what?
but if it doesn't start with "G'day," it's fake.
Okay, so it's not. There's no G'day, no mate. So we're not really sure that this is really Ray Davis.
Quite dubious.
From New South Wales. I don't know. I think Liz may have made this whole thing up.
Well,
anyway.
ask him what beer they drink in New South Wales. If he says Tooheys, then he's genuine.
Okay, well, we'll ask.
for sure.
Liz, make sure you ask.
I will.
Let's see. He says, here's some Aussie aviation news. It might be good for the aviation news segment.
Bit more of a Z, Jeff. Aussie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Aussie is something.
Aussie.
To clarify,
there you go. Well
by
done.
Z, he means
not
Z.
Aussie. Okay, got it. Thank you. On the morning of 28 of October, the Rural Fire Service, not the Royal Fire Service, RFS, large air tanker Marie Bashir had the honor of being the first large aircraft to land at the new Western Sydney International Airport in Badgerys Creek.
Why, had someone already set it alight?
I think it was just for display, for show, for
okay,
demonstration purposes.
Western Sydney traffic, Bomber 210 turning left crosswind, runway 05, Western Sydney. 210, just in the circuit now for a landing 05, no more manoeuvres.
737 large air tanker coming in to land, first large aircraft to land at Western Sydney International Airport.
Flaps 30, green light for landing checks, please.
I think it's an uncontrolled airport.
So long as it's not an uncontrolled 737.
No, looks like they have full control of the 737. So it's a controlled 737 in an uncontrolled airport. And a very nice touchdown.
Center Bomber 210 landed Western Sydney complex.
Okay, so they're making their common traffic advisory frequency reports, as any good pilot should do. All right, so let me go back to his email. Pilot Nigel Long and co-pilot Michael Hayes were behind the controls as she successfully touched down, greeted by a crowd of excited onlookers, aviation enthusiasts, and airport staff. The landing also marks the start of a 2-day multi-agency emergency exercise involving more than 300 personnel, including a contingent of RFS firefighters. The exercise will rigorously test the airport's response capabilities ahead of its scheduled opening in the second half of 2026. Oh, okay. So this is going to be a controlled airport, just that it's uncontrolled at the time. Okay, interesting. There's some nice photographs in here of the crew and officials at the airport and from the Rural Fire Service, New South Wales. And he says, Ray continues, obviously an event that is close to my heart, being he is a Rural Fire Service member himself. Sorry that it's been a very long time since I contributed to the show. Lots of things have been going on within our family. Okay, well, hopefully everything is going well, Ray. He says, but please know that I do still think of you all as in the APG crew, Ray. Okay, thanks, Ray. We appreciate your contribution to our feedback stream, and thanks for sending that video of that 737 large air tanker landing at the Western Sydney International Airport complex. This is from Kevin Doria, the Air ACT crash in Hong Kong. Hello, crew. I was listening to episode 681. We're on 685 right now. This morning, and your discussions about the Air ACT Boeing 747-400 crash in Hong Kong sparked a few questions in my mind. Captain Nick mentioned that it seemed like the moment the aircraft started veering off the runway also coincided with the speed one would usually go from controlling the aircraft with the rudder to controlling it with the tiller. Additionally, I believe the article mentioned that the aircraft landed on 7 left, which is the northerly runway and the furthest from the cargo terminal. This got me thinking about a personal story of mine. When I used to be in the right seat of the CRJ 900, we were coming into runway 5 at Toronto Pearson on an IFR day with poor visibility. Both myself and the captain were extremely familiar with the airport, but the runway configuration was different than usual. 90% of the time, Toronto lands on the southern runways, which are 6 left and 6 right, and depart off the northern runway, 5. This means that we almost always take the first available high-speed exit on the left of the runway after landing. On this day, however, as we were landing on runway 5, the high-speed exits would all have been on the right side. After landing, the captain slowed the aircraft to a taxi off speed, but missed the high-speed exit on the right-hand side. He also seemed confused about where we were and why he was not seeing any taxiways. At this point, I clued into the fact that he was looking for the taxiway exit to be on the left-hand side of the runway, as would almost always be the case when we land on the south side of the field. After I communicated that the next high speed was coming up on the right-hand side, his situational awareness returned, and we exited the runway and taxied safely to the gate. For the crew, have you ever experienced something similar in your career? He says, relating this back to the Hong Kong accident, do cargo airlines normally land on 7 right in Hong Kong? Do you think that the crew may have thought that the exit was on the other side of the runway? As always, blue skies and tailwinds. Kevin, that's a good idea or good thinking. Maybe that was a consideration, but I think now that we know that was episode 681, so some time has elapsed and the investigation has been in progress, and we've learned some things from that preliminary report that we talked about earlier in the news segment today. And that I'm not sure if that is a factor in this incident, but I can tell you, first of all, by your pointing out to the captain, realizing that he may have been a little bit disoriented, by verbalizing, you're looking for the next, on the right, was great crew resource management or great.
Yeah, his
skills.
Captain was being a bit of a foul ducker, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, sometimes
that's the opposite of a dowel.
we kind of fixate on things. Sometimes it's just human nature, and it happens. So I mean, it was great that you recognized that he was a little confused about where to be looking for the taxiway exit. And now, this is something sort of related, because he asked us if we had anything similar happen to us in our career, and I think I've related this story a couple of times in the past, but I'll just quickly mention, and it had nothing to do with actually taxiing or looking for a taxiway in a certain place, but it did have everything to do with the fact that none of the 3 of us on the 727 crew had landed at Savannah Airport since they had moved our concourse, our Delta gates, to the new terminal, which was basically on the opposite side of the airport. So when we were landing to the east, the new terminal was off to our left, and nobody noticed it and made any mention of it. And nor did anybody, I guess, thoroughly look at what we called the green page, the green pages at the time, which is like the company pages that tell you information that is helpful to you when you're coming to an airport, like where the gates are on the airport. We didn't realize that the new terminal had opened and our gates were now at the new terminal and not where we all thought we were going. And so we just kind of kept coasting down the runway and turned off at the end of the runway as we normally do. And we're looking at this old terminal building that didn't look like it was very busy at all. Like nobody was at the terminal building.
Where'd all the people go?
Yeah. And then the tower guy says, the tower goes, where are you going, Delta?
Scenic tour.
Well,
scenic tour.
Well, I don't know. Where are we going? We thought we were going to our gate. Yeah, we were a little confused. And he says, I think you want to go.
We are going. We don't know where we're supposed to be going.
Exactly. Yeah. So here, let me help you out. I'll give you some progressive taxiing instructions to get to where you really want to be. And we said, thank you very much.
That would have been the greatest if that controller actually gave you progressive taxi back to your gate.
Yeah, turn left. Okay, cross the runway, turn left again on this next one.
Continue.
Yeah. Anyway, so it was kind of sort of like your situation. But anybody else have any examples or experiences like this?
Yeah, we had a couple of new gates opened up at Heathrow.
Nude gates?
New.
Oh.
They were recently created. And I didn't appreciate that they were the lineup was at a completely different angle to all the others. So I gaily went hurtling down the taxiway to turn in, and I went straight past the lineup I was supposed to take. And when I got to where I thought I was going to turn in, and I looked back, I went, oh. The yellow line appears to be over there. So we've gone way past. And what's more, I started to sort of turn, thinking I was going to turn on the gate. But all I'd done now was put myself at the entrance to a cul-de-sac.
Oh, no.
I knew if I went into the cul-de-sac, I was going to be completely stuffed. So I couldn't, because you can't reverse, can you? So
that's when you get set the parking brake and get the tug to come out and connect and drag you over to where you need to be.
Just make a little PA. This is a tighter gate space than usual, one that we have to be towed into. So it'll be just a slight delay. Procedures require totally normal operations here, folks. Just sorry for the slight delay.
Yeah, exactly right. So what we actually ended up doing was just getting the airport operations Land Rover to come round. That's the yellow Land Rover that goes around, picks up stuff and frightens birds, and they also marshal airplanes to come in. And I said, I think I can turn around in this entrance area where I am, but if I don't, I'm going to put a wingtip through Adam's office window, because I was right at the base of the control tower where his office is, and I know that because I've been to his office. So I got the guy to marshal me around. So I did a 180. Thank the Lord for the cameras on the 340, because I knew vaguely where the wheels were at least. And so we went back and attacked it from the other side.
You narrowly avoided what we call in air traffic control the Golden Tow Bar Award.
Oh, excellent. I like that.
If a controller ends up putting two airplanes beak to beak on a taxiway,
that's no
they've
good.
won the Golden Tow Bar Award.
I love it.
Yeah, no solution other than getting somebody to hook up and push us backwards. Yeah,
absolutely. I'll tell you what's quite amusing. I had a supernumerary guy on his first flight with the company on the jump seat, and I'd been showing off all the whole tribe, trying to impress. And this is how it ended up, with me ignominiously having to be marshaled around in a 180 so I could go and park the damn airplane.
Yeah. So
I just wanted to give you a good learning experience here.
This is normal.
Well, that's what I try to bull my way through. Yeah.
How to get yourself out of a less than ideal
difficult situation.
Yeah, difficult situation. How to utilize your resources.
If you grease the landing, it doesn't matter if you brush the tower with the wingtip. It's fine.
Well, certainly not Adam's office.
No. Yeah. All right. I have several other stories that I could tell, but we're running short of time for feedback.
I think some of those still have a statute of limitations on them.
Yeah. Okay. Let's continue on with this from Jonathan Kealing. Dear Captain Jeff and crew, I just wrapped up listening to APG 681 Airport BB Poo, and couldn't pass up the opportunity to write in about some quality airport barbecue. While I live in Minneapolis today, I was born in Kansas City, went to high school in St. Louis, and did a college internship in Austin, Texas. Oh, that's my favorite barbecue spot. So I speak with great personal expertise when it comes to smoked meat. When Kansas City redeveloped its airport in the early 2020s, they brought some of the city's legendary barbecue culture into the airport. In fact, as far as I know, KCI is the only airport in the world with a barbecue smoker operating inside the airport terminal. Additionally, the Kansas City Barbecue Experience restaurant is unique in that while the space is always set aside for barbecue, the operator changes on a yearly basis. Why? Well, that's because the space is set aside as a perk to the winner of the annual Made for KC BBQ Championship.
Oh, what a great idea.
That's great.
Yeah, that's a cool competition.
It's a way to keep you coming back to Kansas City, or at least flying through the airport.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's see. The 2025 operator is OG Bandits Barbecue, and in June they were recognized as Best Airport Casual Dining Restaurant in the World by FAB. What's FAB? In the
Federation of Airports Barbecuers.
Okay.
Federal Aviation Barbecue Agency.
I'll buy that. In the under 20 million annual passenger category. Okay. None of this is to argue with the overall point of the feedback. Airport barbecue can definitely be risky business, except in Kansas City, because if you're in Kansas City, you should make sure to stop by the KC BBQ Experience restaurant to get some epic Kansas City barbecue. Finally, or hopefully, the restaurant is right by the Acme Airlines gate. Brisket, burnt ends, and best wishes to all the crew. Jonathan in Minneapolis.
I'm salivating. Just thinking
I know.
about
I'm
it.
like
It
really.
is
my
dinner time.
Stomach
I
is
have a
starting to
dissenting
growl.
opinion.
Hey, in my experience, the best barbecue that I've ever had at an airport is the Austin airport, and Salt Lick, I think, is the name of the restaurant that they have a place near the downtown Austin area, not in downtown, but in the outskirts. I've never been to that one, but I've been to the Salt Lick barbecue place at the Austin airport, and oh my gosh, it's so good, so good.
Texas barbecue is very different. I have a dissenting opinion on Kansas City barbecue because they put sauce in their meat. Oof.
Yeah, I'm not a
You
huge.
need sauce in your meat.
Sorry, Jonathan, I'm not a huge fan of KC barbecue either, but I don't know. I love Memphis and Austin barbecue.
And my
Carolina
barbecue?
too. Yeah, Carolina's awful.
Eastern
I've
North
not
Carolina.
been to the one that you always talk about, and I've actually watched a little documentary about it. And was it Greenville, North Carolina?
Mm-hmm. Bees barbecue.
And you said they're still open?
As far as I know.
Okay.
I think they
need
still
to go
only,
there.
last I heard, they still only take cash. They open up in the morning and they serve meat until they run out for the day. And yeah, it's kind of no frills, but
That
it's
might
delicious.
be definitely an RVS road trip.
It is
before
quite
they
close
go
to
out of
the
business.
Pitt Greenville Airport.
Okay. Well, I'm going to probably drive, so I don't care about the airport. But thank you.
We could take an airplane and it would be a lot faster, Jeff.
That
I
would
don't know
be
if you remember
faster.
this, but I'm time building.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, but I don't know if you remember this. I'm retired.
Yeah.
And I'm in no hurry.
Okay, fine. Don't have fun with me in an airplane. I don't care.
Well, we'll talk. All right. Let's see. Let's do feedback 10. This is from John Pickard. And it's talking about something we must have talked about in APG episode 683. Oh, yeah, we were talking about compressor washing because we were talking about the report about the dual engine failure of the business jet landing at what's that? The name of it? Naples
Hoppajet.
Airport.
Yeah.
The Hoppajet. All right. So let's go ahead and hear what John has to say.
Hello, APG. My name's John Pickard from sunny Lichfield in Staffordshire, England. In relation to 683, when you're speaking about compressor washes and running the aircraft engines, etc., I just want to clarify a couple of things so that members of the public would be aware that when doing a compressor wash, the engine is spinning, but it's only spinning on motor speed. And that the HP cock, the high pressure fuel cock, will be closed, the throttle will be closed, the ignition will be switched off, and the engine is just literally running dry. And the water is normally deionized water with some sort of solution put inside the mixing chamber and then sprayed into the compressor to wash the compressor of any contaminants that would disrupt the airflow over the aerofoils of the blades. A dry run is also something that you would do once you've had a failed engine start or following a wet run, just to clear out any unburnt flavify. A wet run would be no ignition, HP cock open, LP cock open, and you'd use that to pressurise the fuel system, the oil system, etc., just to check for leaks. I hope that helps.
It does. Yeah. Sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
I never knew what a wet run was. I assumed it was one where Steph does a marathon in the rain.
Could be.
Mm-hmm.
That's
also
one definition.
Same but different.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. That's good background knowledge. Thanks.
That's what I love about this show is that people listening come from all different, levels of experience in different areas of aviation and set us straight or actually educate us about these things. So thanks, John.
And boy, do we need educating.
Oh,
we do.
With one more correction.
All right. Let's finish off the show with one more correction. This is item 12 from Murilo Barbosa. And he says, quick feedback regarding the monkey. Correct pronunciation.
The monkey that
was lost.
Don't spank it.
in
Monkey.
Wait,
I think. Do you pronounce it differently than monkey?
I always thought it was monkey. Monkey.
Well, let me see what he has to say. Hello, Captain Jeff and crew, and especially Liz. Oh.
See?
Maria, that's why she wanted us to do this feedback, I can tell. Murilo here, Brazilian, but living in Marietta. I love Brazilians. Quick follow-up on the GIG
We're gonna have
monkeys.
to follow up on that later.
The monkey story.
Getting a Brazilian in Marietta.
I don't know what you're talking about. Quick follow-up on the GIG monkey story from the last episode. Well, it wasn't last episode, but it was relatively recent episode. First, I think that it was written by a low-quality translator. Even Google Translator have a hard time translating from Portuguese. Also, Portuguese has gender for nouns, and that's one of the things translators can't distinguish. So monkey is a male noun. That's why it has a he. Okay. And finally, I always love when something happens at GIG to see you try to say the airport name. It's so funny. To you, maybe.
Indeed.
So I'll attach an audio file with the correct pronunciation. As always, love you guys. Don't miss a single week. Keep up the good work, Murilo. And again, the Brazilian who lives in Marietta, Georgia. And so, okay, here we go. So I say GIG, so I'm mispronouncing it somehow. No, it's actually, I think I said Galeo. Let's see what the actual pronunciation is.
Galeão.
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 Let me try that again.
Galeão.
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 No.
Galeão.
No? I know I'm saying.
Galeão.
Oh, don't get me started, AJ.
Galeão.
So close. Almost.
Yeah, so I have issues pronouncing foreign words and names,
and sometimes American English words and names.
We enjoy it, though. We enjoy the attempts.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, indeed. Indeed.
Yeah. That's part of the charm of the show, right?
Exactly.
Okay. With that, we're going to go ahead and wrap the show up and point you over to our website, airlinepilotguide.com, where we have lots of good stuff that you should check out. And we are also on social media. And since you're here, Steph, you need to tell us.
This is the whole reason why I'm here.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Slide for it, but I'll just start telling you. We're on Facebook.
We're doing it so quick. I did this so quickly that Liz can't even find the slide.
I know. Hold on. I should time this correctly so that people can have the audio and visual experience if they so choose. Here we go. Facebook.com/airlinepilotguy. You can also find us on X. We are at APG Crew. If you're looking for the wonderful weekly show artwork, if you want to track down where the penguin is, where the
and I've worked out how to put it
in...
on our handle. I link the two. I tag us now. Well done, Nicholas.
We're very clever, very smart. Yes. So if you're looking for that, that's on Instagram, instagram.com/APG Crew. APG Crew is our handle there on Instagram. If you're looking for the live show recordings or you want to watch a playback of one, you can find that on YouTube, youtube.com/airlinepilotguy. And as always, you can go for the deeper dive in Slack.
Yes, you can. Let's see if Hillel and anybody else in my shower. Hello? Hello? Can you tell us about Slack?
Okay, but I'm dripping wet. APG listeners, please join us on our Slack team. Slack is a communication, coordination, and sharing platform that works on your mobile, laptop, or browser. On Slack, we share news and ideas, we suggest episode and plain tales topics, we plan events and meetups. To get into the Slack team, please email me at slack@airlinepilotguy.com. That's SLACK, Sierra Lima Alpha Charlie Kilo @airlinepilotguy.com. Or send me a tweet with your preferred email address to @Hillel, and I'll send you an invitation. That's Hillel, spelled Hotel India 11 Echo 1, and see you in Slack.
Thanks a lot, Hillel.
Sorry, Jeff, I might have used all your skin lotion.
Yeah, I think we know why now.
Jeff, how big is your shower?
Where's that giggling?
That is
That's
so
his
great.
wife.
It's his wife.
Jeannie.
Oh, fabulous.
I got it from the little audio feedback that he sent of her laughing in the back. I think that's Jeannie that's laughing. Maybe, I don't know if that's
great.
Tanya or not, but I think that's Jeannie.
It better be.
Yeah, sorry. Hey, I'm not trying to get into anything here. Okay. Yeah, thanks a lot, Hillel, for that. And we'd also like to thank our producer, Liz, for all the work that she does behind the scenes.
Thanks, Liz.
Always
You're welcome, guys.
much appreciated. Excuse me. God, I got something in my throat. We'd also like to thank our
Call it
live
tongue,
audience.
Jeff.
Part of it.
As long
Yeah.
as it's his.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So thank you, our live chat room and live audience. And I guess I'd better just end this thing before I get in any more trouble and get any more ridicule from my crew by telling you, wishing you clear skies, unlimited visibility, and tailwinds. Take care and God bless.
Cheers, y'all.
Bye, everybody.
You're welcome.
See you next time.
Yeah, he's up in the sky. It's the airline pilot guy.
Good day.
I used to be such a good pilot till I started APG. I opened doors for little old ladies. I helped them to their seats. Airline pilot guy, I fly America. Oh, airline pilot guy, he can land in heavy fog. I got no friends 'cause I'm always flying. I just don't have the time. But I can land this old plane. I can land it just fine. Airline pilot guy, I fly